So I'm sure you know how to round because we did it a bunch on Tuesday. We looked at different numbers and said we're going to pick this digit to round to, and then we're either going to take the things, look at the things to the right, and maybe make the thing we're rounding to one bigger, or maybe keep it the same, and everything to the right becomes a zero. We've done that. Why do you do rounding? It's different than estimating. So if I have 40 divided by 7, I get that decimal, 5.7142866, below it goes on and on and on. I don't really have that much accuracy. I'm not using some sort of laser equipment to measure something. So many decimals. The reason I have all those decimal points is only because they do addition. It's fake accuracy. So if that was my answer, I would need to round it. I don't really know it that well. So this is different than estimating. Estimating is at the start of the problem. And I don't know a number accurately. I just have to make up what gas might be this weekend. Whereas this is, I have too many digits. Some of those digits are fake accuracy, and I would be lying or exaggerating my confidence if I reported them all as my answer. So let's imagine I'm planning my kid's birthday for the first one. There's 6 kids. So with my own kid, there's 7 party favor bags. I have 40 pieces of candy. How many go in each bag? 5. What happens to, that's 5 times 7 is 35.
You eat the other 5.
Then I'll eat the other 5, right? Grown-up benefits, right? So if I am giving out candies into a bag, I'm going to round to the nearest whole thing. I'm not going to chop up candies. That would be silly. Okay, next problem. A pharmacist has a small container whose label tells her it contains 40 milligrams of medicine, and she needs to make 7 doses. You know, so if someone can take 1 dose every day of the week, how many milligrams are in the dose? So she will again do 40 divided by 7 and get this long decimal. How much accuracy does she really have? What do you think a pharmacist scale measures to? Probably more than 1/10 of a gram. Anyone know for sure if it's 100th or 1,000th of a gram? I used to know this. I'm not sure I do. But it would depend on her scale. It would either be 5.71 or 5.714, based on how accurate her scale lets her be, right? How about the last one? A carpenter has a 40-inch board and for some project wants to cut it into 7 equal lengths. How many inches long is each piece?
1/4 inches. Yeah.
So I could certainly cut to an inch with a saw. I could probably cut accurately to the 1/10 of an inch. I don't think I'm good enough with a handsaw to cut to the 100th of an inch accurately. So I think that would be what I would do. Okay, so the moral of the story is that often how you round depends on your situation and your equipment. Are you sawing wood with a handsaw? Do you have some fancy scale that measures things because you're in the pharmacy? Are you just doling out candies to people? But what if you don't have a nice situation? Is there some general rule for rounding? And there is. So the general rule is look at the numbers in the problem and see how many decimal places they have. And then either keep that or add 1 more. The idea being that if I am making little piles of things with division, sometimes I can be a little more accurate. If I have 1 tray of brownies and I'm cutting them up into 20 pieces to give to my friends, I might be a little more careful than just when I'm sloshing the brownie mix in the tray to begin with. So sometimes when we're paying attention to small piles of things, then we do get a little more accuracy, but not much. If the pharmacist didn't have a scale, she wouldn't know that this 40 milligrams labeled on the container was accurate. Maybe it's 39.6. Maybe it's 40.4 and someone just rounded. If it was really 40, you'd think it would be 40.0 to show her that this place had been measured. So if she didn't have a scale, then both of these, the 5.71 and the 5.714 would be exaggerating her accuracy. She might be able to get one more decimal point with her dropper, but not necessarily two. That would be a lot, and certainly not. So that's the little lesson about rounding. If you have been traumatized by some past math teacher that really cared how you round, don't worry, real life is not like that. But there's some things to think about. It is somewhat of an issue.